when God put us here, is that really how He wanted us living our everyday life? Hey, I'm Matt Wyatt, and when I'm not on the radio or in the podcast studio or in the broadcast booth, I'm off the air. Hang out with me, see what we can get into. Go down to the coast tomorrow. Jasper gets to go hang out with his friends at doggy daycare. Chick-fil-A run. Talking with my buddies at breakfast earlier this week. Just the thought that it's okay to think about it, the way we live, the way our lives are structured day to day, the number of hours we spend doing what we do. All right, so you think about that, the whole construct of sort of American life. Monday through Friday you work. Some people work on Saturdays, depends on what your job is. But most of your time is spent trying to do a job to make as much money as you can make. And for some people that is making as much as you can make to scratch and claw and get yourself out of debt. Others, it's making as much as you can make to stack it up so that you can die on it and retire on it. Whatever's left over, maybe hand it down to your children so that you feel like your life is worth something. Now that sounds really negative, but it's true. I think that's true. And I don't know that there's anything wrong with any of that. It's worth asking the question. Is that really, when God put us here, when God created you, created me, and put us here, is that really how He wanted us living our everyday life? So think about that now, up against the backdrop of vacation. Why do you enjoy vacation so much? Drop off. It's kind of tough to drop them off. No, you're not going to see them for a week. Hey, bud. Hey, where we going? Huh? Come on. All right, bye, Jasper. See you next week. I held the door for her. When I came back out after dropping Jasper off, she was distraught, holding the leash and hollering, Ace, Ace. She thought one of her dogs had gotten loose, and so I went around the building, was whistling and calling. She came and said, it's okay, I found him. He was in the car. He had just jumped up in the car. Ace wasn't trying to get away. He was trying to go home. All right, Mary, we're about to be in Alabama, and you know what your mama says? She says, you'd think Nick Saban could have 4-lane this road if he wanted to. Vacation. What do you think about it? You work hard. You're supposed to work hard. We are supposed to work hard. Okay, and then where's the fine line in resting, being still? Okay, I was still saying, you stop and smell the roses. This week a senator passed away, and it was sudden. One day he's working and overseas and sort of being an ambassador for the United States and other areas, and then he comes home, and the next thing you know, click, he's gone. And so kind of thing that happens every day with people we know and people we love, where you're reminded, we just don't know. You don't know how many days you have. You don't know how many hours. It's a guarantee that at some point life will be over, and we'll have unfinished projects and unfinished business and things we were going to clean up that we didn't. And you see those things, it's a reminder. Also had a story this week in Mississippi on the coast about a young man, 18 years old, who passed away. I know his dad. I was a teammate of his in college, and that's his 19-year-old son. And I can't get past that, thinking about what's he going through? What's a dad going through when it's your own son? Okay, so those are not morbid thoughts, but they're just things you see that make you think. Okay, life is short in the grand scheme. Another day, another year, none of that's guaranteed. We don't know. So you need to take some time off, away from grinding away. You need to, or maybe even better yet, change your whole mindset. It's as much mental, spiritual break as it is a physical break. Why can't I have more of that all the time? Why can't I mental, spiritual approach more often? Psalm 90 verse 12. This is the Amplified Bible. So teach us to number our days, that we may cultivate and bring to you a heart of wisdom. Teach us to number our days. Psalm 39 verse 4. Lord, let me know my life's end and to appreciate the extent of my days. Let me know how frail I am, how transient is my stay here. Think about that. Let me appreciate the extent of my days. Let me to know how frail I am and how transient my stay here is. It's a better perspective. I think you're able to enjoy every day, whether you're at home or on vacation. I am. If I'm reminded that, I'm not guaranteed tomorrow. Montlouis Island Schoolhouse Renovation Project. This schoolhouse was a place of teaching and learning for the children of the Montlouis community from the late 1800s to 1966. That's the original school building. The sign says it was built in 1890. It says this one room, 20-foot by 40-foot building known as the Creole Schoolhouse.
What is it? It's on her little nose. Sit down by her, buddy.
All right, here we go. Hit the bullseye. You can do it.
Okay, yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Eat it. I'm wearing this shirt in honor of producer Bieber. Most likely to eat the Christmas tree cakes. There's some really old live oak trees on that property. I'm fascinated with old trees, especially live oak trees. There's a few there on that spot that are easily 200-300 years old. And one that I think ought to be renamed the Mighty Hand Tree. They ought to call it the Mighty Hand Tree. If you look at it at the right angle, that live oak comes out of the ground. It looks like a great big hand and wrist sprouting up out of the ground. And it makes me think about one of my favorite verses of scripture. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 6. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, and he will lift you up in due time. Now here's another idea. Let's do some math. There's 52 weeks in a year. So if you go on vacation for 2 weeks, that's 4% of your year. If you go on vacation for 1 week, that's basically 2% of your year. So somewhere between 2 to 4%. 2 to 4%. What if you applied that to every day? Mental, spiritual vacation. What would be 2 to 4% of every day? That's 1,440 minutes a day. 2% of that is 28 minutes. 4% of that every day is 30 to 60 minutes a day of vacation. What if you took 30 to 60 minutes of vacation every day? What if there was a mental, spiritual vacation? Riding down to get evening look at the boat ramp, and boats coming in and out, especially with the fishing rodeo getting going on. Coach Pete Hurt passed away. While we've been down here, got a text message that from his brother that Coach Pete Hurt passed away. Coach Hurt was from Cleveland, Mississippi. Passed away while on vacation with his wife in the Dominican Republic on July 11th this year, so just a few days ago. And considered him a friend. I hadn't seen him a lot over the years, but I first met him in 1993 at quarterback camp at Samford University in Birmingham. And then he was a DC then, and then he became the head coach at Samford for a while, and then he was the head coach at several schools in Mississippi, and most recently he was helping out at Horn Lake. And anyway, fine person, and he was a heck of a football coach, and thoughts and prayers are with his family, his wife, who had to come home from the Dominican Republic without him, and those who were close to him. Yeah, but just he lived a heck of a life. 69 years old. Just another reminder. Every single day is precious. Every day, every hour, every minute. It's precious. It's a gift. Head. Yes. Good job, man. Sure.
What? I touched it.
How about that?
Fresh shark. Honey shark.
Oh!
Where we go on the coast, going down there and coming back, we go through Citronelle, Alabama. Citronelle is directly linked to my favorite movie of all time, to one of the greatest movies ever made, in my opinion, the greatest sports movie ever made, The Natural. The story goes, a man from Citronelle named Bama Rowell, we'll call him Rowell, R-O-W-E-L-L, grew up there, was a great athlete. In the early 1900s, he went to LSU, from Citronelle to LSU to be a football player and played baseball, and then became a professional baseball player, playing for the Brooklyn Dodgers at Ebbets Field in 1946. Hit a home run over the fence that busted the Bulova Watch Company clock that they had put out there. Busted it. In attendance that day in 1946 that saw Bama Rowell do it, a novelist, a future novelist, writer, last name Malamud, saw it that day. A decade yet later, in the 1950s, Malamud's novel The Natural came out, which included a story of the protagonist, the hero Roy Hobbs, hitting a game-winning home run that smashed into a clock in the outfield and shattered it. 30 years later, in the 1980s, that made it in the movie. Robert Redford, playing Roy Hobbs, hits a home run in the movie that smashes a clock in the outfield. That scene in the movie, written by Malamud, who saw it happen in real life and based his story on it. A ball hit by Bama Rowell from Citronelle, Alabama. The rest of the story is Rowell, who was still alive, never won his watch. He never got a free watch for hitting the Bulova Watch sign at clock sign at Ebbets Field. So they held a Bama Roll Day in honor of him in the 1980s, and representatives from the watch company, Bulova Watch Company, showed up and presented him with his free watch all those years later. When you go through Citronelle now, if you look closely, right on the main road, you will see Rowell Sporting Goods Store right on the main road. From Citronelle to LSU to World War II to the Brooklyn Dodgers to the Natural Novel to the big screen played by Robert Redford.